Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're having a quick reset on focusing our mindset on the direction that we desire to go. So when we are creating different things in our life, we know that we are keeping our thoughts on the person that it is that we are when it comes to attracting what it is that we want into our life. And we are also keeping our thoughts on what it is that we want. Now, I want to say that this is something that becomes more ingrained the more that we go on, but also as well too, we don't have to force anything into our mind in order to believe it. Sometimes when we're forcing something too much, it can actually have the opposite effect, because we can start thinking to ourselves that it's something maybe that we don't want because we're feeling so negative or defeated or resistant. However, these are the moments where we stop, we do the self-regulation, and then we can come back to it. But we never actually give up on the actual outcome, or we never feel defeated, because once we decide on something, it is already done. So when we are actually creating this outcome, we have a tendency, I know, to look out into the 3D reality. This can sometimes cause us to waver, but it never stops what it is that we are creating. What we are creating is actually a journey. So it's an inevitable destination that we are going to get to. When we look at the 3D and we actually validate ourselves from the 3D, all that does is kind of cause us to have self-doubt within ourselves. It causes us to feel resistant. It causes us to believe in the impossible rather than the possible. And it's really just all coming into ourselves in those moments in the negative type of way. So it's not that it actually stops anything, because nothing is stopped once it is started, meaning that once you have decided on an outcome, you're going to get there. And all it really is continuing to find the solution and the road to what it is that you are creating. So for example, when I am manifesting things and things are taking a little bit longer, the only reason why it starts to become longer in my mind is because I am focusing too much on what I am seeing. What I don't realize in those moments is that it's already created. How long it takes is not up to me. How it even comes is not up to me either as well too, because I've had actually, I have a certain thing on my list that I'm manifesting that has actually come to me in a way that I never actually thought that it would come to me, the process of starting it. And I was thinking to myself that even if I had written down the exact way of how I was going to manifest this thing, it still wouldn't have came to me in the way that it actually has come to me to actually get going on what it is that I am manifesting. So what this says is that we never have to worry about the how. The opportunities arise because our mindset is on it. So if something is taking a little bit longer, all that is something for us to understand more. Maybe we need to come into our stability and our security within ourselves more. We need to maybe believe in the whole idea that we actually do create what it is that we want. And we also want to understand that there is always a solution for everything. Just like there is an excuse for anything that you decide not to continue on with, there is a solution for anything you continue to decide to continue on with. So it's like the likes of visionaries there, like Henry Ford, Steve Jobs, and all, these people who came into the world and had these visions, decided that this outcome was going to happen, and whoever came to them where with doubts and telling them they couldn't do it, they wouldn't take it. They would say, no, you can, and I want to see it. And they would continue with that mindset. And then inevitably then whoever was creating or building the invention would actually end up finding the solution in the end, and they would create the product, like the car there, for instance, with Henry Ford, or Steve Jobs, obviously, with Apple and iPods and all of the visions that he had as well too. So when we are actually creating things, all it is deciding on an outcome. And it's sometimes, I think, where we get wrapped up is that we think that we have to know how to actually create it step by step. You can actually do this by the ways that you actually decide to act. So for instance, that desire that I am manifesting, I wrote it down. I decided what way I was going to do it in this year, how I was going to manifest it. But because my mind was on it, and may I say I wasn't even on it that much, it came to me in a different way by somebody suggesting something to me in a way that I would never have actually, I didn't even know that it was available in that way. So this can happen when you are manifesting for anything. So even though we write down the actual way that we think it's going to happen, that's just the start. That's just to get the mind into the actual focus of what it is that we are doing. But the subconscious mind knows how to bring it into our reality in a way that the conscious mind doesn't. And so it will seek out the how. So don't worry about the how. It's like when we are manifesting things, it's not about, oh, I give up because this is not manifesting in a certain amount of time. It's more to do with the fact that we are developing ourselves in such a way that we are maintaining and sustaining a certain level of mindset that knows that this is achievable, and it's achievable to us because we are the ones that are creating it. When we are actually coming into this whole concept of manifesting and law of assumption and the whole theory around quantum mechanics and everything, we come into this realization that we are one consciousness. And one consciousness is, from my own interpretation and my own understanding, meaning that we are actually just one consciousness in this whole universe, and we are actually experiencing our consciousness in the way that we perceive our reality. So how we perceive people in our reality is not actually to do with them, it's to do with how we perceive it in our mind. So somebody could show up in my reality and they could tell me awful things, and depending on my mindset, I'm either going to believe that because of the way that I am perceiving the way they are showing up, and I'm going to believe everything that they are saying because of where my mindset is, or I'm going to not believe it because of where my mindset is. So it's like it's a paradigm shift. My mindset could be in a negative state of being. Someone shows up telling me horrible things about me, or my mindset could be in a positive state of being and someone shows up in horrible things about me. But how I take it, how I perceive it, is ultimately how I'm actually going to create it to turn around. So if that person turns up and I'm in a negative way of being, I'm going to believe it, take it in. They may give me more of it. If they show up when I'm in a positive state of being, I'm not going to believe it. I'm going to actually not even react to it. And then they actually change, because we are subconsciously, we are unconsciously, subconsciously connecting with one another, whether we believe that or not, even without our conscious mind. And so they pick up on that energy. Once they pick up on that energy that they can't say those things to me, they start to change. They realize, oh, okay, I was wrong. And then they start to say all the things that I believe that are positive about me. So that's kind of the way that it works. And when we are creating, again, dynamics in relationships, or just attracting relationships, it's not that it has to be hard. It's not that it has to be something that is a struggle. It's to be something that is an elevation of your own consciousness and of your own awareness of who you actually are in this whole universe. So it's like the more you delve deeper in, sometimes it can feel a little bit more feel a little hard, and it can feel a little like a struggle on the way, but that is only because you are going deeper down to elevate higher. And when we are actually in a mindset capacity where we can hold on to more and more things, obviously where we have to develop ourselves then in a way that our nervous system is able to hold on to more and more things as well too. It's like manifesting a certain amount of wealth that you never had before. Depending on where you are on your mindset, sometimes you can manifest winning the lotto. But let's say, for example, you're always someone who doesn't believe maybe in having a great amount of money. Unconsciously to yourself, you're going to find a way to actually just spend it all. Or if you are someone who has raised up in that higher level, you've gone deeper down to understand what it's like to be in that higher level, you are going to be able to maintain the substantial amount of wealth, because you'll have these inspirational thoughts of how to invest it, or where you want to be maybe philanthropic with your money. And when you are doing all these kind of different ways of actually someone who would just go out and kind of just blow it all, you actually end up becoming more wealthy, because the more you circulate it in these ways, these are the ways that it comes back into you, twofold, threefold, 100-fold, or whatever as well too. So I just wanted to make a video on that. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. I have a little cold at the moment, that's why I have this little scarf around me, and why I sound a little kind of muffled in my speech, but it's getting better, and I will be back with more and more content to keep you inspired and motivated along your journey. Thank you very much, and I will chat to you soon.